And now my screen fills up with all these larger versions of those images. On the keyboard, with the arrow keys, you can use the right arrow and left arrow to go forward and backward through the images. You can also use these arrows on the bottom left-hand corner, right arrow, left arrow. This down arrow means you're taking it out of review mode. It's not removing the file anywhere, it's just taking it out of review mode so you don't have to be distracted by it. So if you go through a quick pass editing, you can get rid of any images that you definitely do not want, again, out of focus, cropped, or whatever, ill-cropped, and you can get rid of them. A couple other things on the lower right-hand side here. We have this little, it looks like a little comment bubble, but really what it is it allows us to check critical focus on something. So when I click that, it brings up this eye loop. Now I can move this around. See that little point thing right here? That means that's what it's actually looking at. So if I want to check critical focus, meaning if you're shooting a portrait or shooting some person, you definitely want to make sure that their eyes are in focus. That's critical, that the eyes are in focus. If the eyes are not in focus, it actually will make the image feel like the image is out of focus. And so just be careful when you're shooting, especially people, because that would be the most obvious situation where something's not in focus, that your camera doesn't front or back focus, which means the automatic focus picks up something in the background that it thinks you want to shoot, as opposed to actually shooting the subject or the person that you're trying to shoot. With this loop, I can go in and double check and make sure that that's in focus. If it's not in focus and it's critical that it is, you can reject it. So I click this little X right here, and that closes the loop. Now, unfortunately, with my recording software here, it's covering this up, but I have add these current review images to a collection, and we'll do that later. And this is actually a little X that gets you out of review mode. You can also hit the escape key, which is in the upper left-hand corner of your keyboard, to exit any of these windows or review mode as well. Okay, so what I want to do is go, and my personal preference is to go through these quickly to see which ones are worthy to stay in and which ones aren't. So I can go through and give them a quick pass, edits, meaning I'm going to go and review them. Ones I want to keep, ones I don't. I can give them a star rating at this point, and then maybe go through it again to fine-tune those choices. So I'm going to use my arrow keys, so if you don't see me clicking anything, that's because I'm using the arrow keys. And so I'm going to go through and see. Now this car is out of focus. I'm going to hit the down arrow here. Okay, you can use the down arrow on your keyboard as well. That got it out of review mode. So I'm going to go through and just double check. It's kind of out of focus, but we're going to leave it for now. Now remember, you can go forward and back. So I went backwards, I went back forward just to see, if I like one over the other. Okay, that one's not so great because it's a little out of focus. So again, I'm going to click that and get rid of that. And we're back to the beginning. Okay, you don't have to remember where you started from. I just noticed it was 001. That made it easier. Okay, so got rid of anything that I didn't want. Now I'm going to go through and see which ones are better than others. Okay, so we have a star rating system that will allow you to give your images those star ratings. So, you can determine whether 1 star is better than 5 star, but I think whenever we're watching movies, 5 stars is always better. I personally very rarely watch a 1 star movie, just because they're usually pretty bad. And so for this, we're going to go ahead and we'll give our images, star ratings based on the higher number of stars, the better the image. Okay, and so Your images still may not be 5-star images, but we can give them an in-between rating of 3, and then we can bump it up or down as needed. Okay, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to say this is a solid 3. Now, again, I took liberties and I clicked on my keyboard. At the top you have the number keys, or you have a keypad off to the right. Notice under the name here, there's the little tiny dots. Those little dots are where the star ratings will go. You can click on that. Well, you used to be able to click on it. You can't anymore. If I give it a 3-star by clicking the number 3 on the keyboard or keypad, I get 3 stars. If I change that to 1 star, I hit the number 1 key, and you can see right here that these are changing. Okay, and so if I give it a 5-star and later on I decide, you know what, I don't want to give it any stars, I hit the 0 key and that gets rid of them completely. So 1 through 5 on your keyboard or keypad will give you that number of star ratings. Okay, so we'll say 3. So again, using the keyboard, instead of trying to click, I can hit the right arrow and go through these, and I'm going to give that, you know, star ratings based on what I think, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. No relation to me. That's my last name. I wish it was. So, you know, some of these, again, may be better than others. Give that a 3. That's kind of a 2. Yeah, it's a 1. That's kind of okay. 3. I can check critical focus while I'm here. Click on that and move it over. Yeah, so unfortunately that's kind of blurry. You know, it was a challenge trying to capture a car going that fast around the track and, you know, following it. And so I'm going to go ahead and not give it any ratings. I hit escape by accident. So give it no ratings. It started back at the beginning. Disregard that little error. Here's the one I had. It was this one right here. Okay, so I'm not going to give it any ratings. I don't have to give them a rating. You know, it just means I didn't reject them, but I also might not want to edit in the future. Give that a 3. Probably a little bit better, not great. That's a 1. We'll go ahead and edit that one, maybe that one. All right, so I'm just going to go cycle through these so you can see at the bottom here, because I went through it a little bit quickly. 3 stars, 3 stars, 2. Again, you can cycle through these and double check. You know, you can upgrade or downgrade the stars as you see fit. Okay, don't make them all the same, because again, that means you're going to edit all of those, or at least that's the idea. I'm going to take all the star ratings off of that one because it's too blurry. Okay, and that's probably good for right now. Cool. So I've gone through all my images. I've cycled through them. I've gotten rid of the ones I don't want by clicking this down arrow or clicking this arrow on the key on the screen. I went through and cycled through using the left and right arrows to give it a star rating by hitting the number keys on the keyboard. I've checked critical focus with my loop here and double check, and that's good enough. Okay. So once I've gone through that whole process, I can hit the escape key or get out of this review mode,